Oh hi, did you just get told no from the journalism job of your dreams? Have you just been rejected from every single journalist job you've applied for? If so, you might be wondering, why me? Why me, Lord? Why am I always getting all these emails saying, we'd like to thank you for your time, but we've decided to go in a different direction with a different candidate? Well, here I am, hopefully to answer your questions and to provide you with some tools to chase down, like a fox to a rabbit, that Rory Gilmore journalism dream job of yours. I've worked a melange of media jobs that will go unnamed as I am still currently employed, and often the things I disclose in these videos the companies would not like. The first probable reason why you did not get that job is that you did not apply enough times. Sounds like a kind of simple, trite answer, but I mean it. Now, I don't know what your parents told you or what you were taught in school, but among the most successful people I have met, I have found they view failure or rejection a temporary setback at most. They view it as a minor annoyance, and that they are willing to continually push against a wall until that wall either crumbles from just sheer amount of time and force pressed upon it, or the wall decides to just stand aside and let them through. If you receive a rejection letter, if you want to work at Vice or the New York Times, doesn't matter, and they reject you, and you open up your email, my recommendation is for you to immediately apply again, and there is no maximum amount of times to apply for a job. There is no amount of times applying for that job is going to hurt you. In fact, applying more only increases your probability that one of those times, your resume or your portfolio will wind up in front of an eyeball that finds your work interesting. This leads me splendidly to my second point and why you did not get that journalism job. The entire hiring process is so arbitrary that you would not believe it unless you sat on the opposite side of the media company and were there looking at all the resumes and the round table of individuals that often have to sign off upon hiring anybody above an intern. I have personally seen resumes turned aside because the one individual didn't think they were as physically active as they were and thought, well, maybe I couldn't bond with them, or I wish this person was more physically fit. Or they didn't take LinkedIn as seriously as another individual. To one person that was on the hiring team, they found LinkedIn a very important piece of any CV or resume, and the person applying seemed like, to my mind, a totally competent candidate, but they weren't very active on LinkedIn. Whatever it is, often the decisions are arbitrary, and the arbitrariness of hiring based on personal preferences and the person or persons examining your resume should lead you to circle back to number one, which is apply again. And you should apply again because often the hiring team that is seeing your resume within a media organization, a journalism, are different people. Because those people that originally looked at your resume the first time have left for different jobs, have left to pursue different careers, have retired, have moved to a different part of the media company, and often, if you apply again, it'll be seen by an entirely fresh set of eyes. And once again, you have another chance at bat to swing and whack that ball, and perhaps this time, that ball will head right into the outfield to be caught by somebody who is more to your predilection. This is why I think the most important piece of advice is to apply again. And many times it's just a means of attrition. That the reason why you didn't get the job is because you did not apply enough times. And in fact, the other people applying for the job at the same time you were had already applied 3 or 4 times, and this was their 5th time applying to that job. And maybe the HR candidate noticed, or maybe the head executive or the editor-in-chief noticed and said, Jane Smith has really been applying. She must really care about this job or really like this company. This is her 5th time her applications come in. Maybe we've overlooked something. Maybe we should just pull her in for an interview anyway. And then they pull in Jane Smith, and you are totally competent as well, but Jane Smith, this is her 5th time applying. They actually pull her in for an interview. She seems nice enough. Great. You know what, Jane? We were too hard on you the first time. We'd love to offer you the job. And that's as simple as that. It had nothing to do with you. It had nothing to do with you not getting the job at all. But these are the capricious arbitrariness of hiring. And the third reason why you most likely did not get that job is because you were not applying for the right job. And this might sound cold or callous, but in reality, I think if you want to work for a company in journalism, which most journalism is working for companies, whether you like it or not, whether it's the New York Times or Vice or Vox, if you want to work for Vice and you just got out of college, your best bet is applying for an internship or a fellowship. it's going to be harder to get a full-time job because there's always going to be candidates with more work experience than you. And when media organizations are opening up for new job opportunities, they're often looking for two types of candidates. Candidates that have a set amount of experience and connections and wherewithal that they can operate with very little oversight. That the company needs to launch a new TikTok division, and they need somebody that's very good at managing a small video team unit effectively. So when they're looking for just a kind of senior producer in that sense, you may be a great storyteller and videographer, but if you don't have kind of a couple years at other companies, you're not going to get the job simply because most media companies are looking for intrinsically people that they don't need to have a lot of oversight over. The reverse is also true though. If you're coming out of a job with some work experience in journalism, let's say you've been a writer for 3 or 4 years, but you realize video is really taking off and there seems to be a lot more video jobs or a lot more like social media jobs. Maybe you want to get into that and you think, oh, I did a couple years at the Daily Beast, I did a year at the Daily Caller. I'm going to apply to this junior job as a social media producer because I'm a writer. I don't know that much about Facebook videos and Instagram videos, so I'll apply for a junior role, and that should be good. But what happens is that the junior role isn't in particular looking for people that are less knowledgeable in the field, in that specific expertise. What they're looking for are young people that they can mold, that require a lot of oversight, that they realize, most media companies recognize when they're hiring for these junior type roles, they recognize these individuals are going to require a lot of oversight and a lot of nurturing. But the nurturing is to the company's benefit because they can mold them in a way that they will listen and execute on what the company wants done without being too combative, being too argumentative, or being too set in ways from other companies. Often when you're hiring more senior people from one company to another, they have a certain way of doing things, or a certain methodology, or a certain aesthetic, a certain perspective. And these can be very hard to change, or they can be very stubborn to changing them if you need to break and remold somebody to suit a new vertical. Whereas when you're hiring for these junior roles, what individuals or companies are really looking for in individuals is people they can mold. Somebody freshly minted from college, whereas, oh, it's my first job. Yeah, I'd be happy to do whatever you wanted. You would just want me to make 5 30-second videos a day? No problem. Yes, of course I'll use this terrible red ink font on a green background that nobody can read. But, you know, they don't want people to question whether their editorial or business judgments make sense. They just want to mold them in the way. And that's, for better or worse, how things turn out. So those are the 3 reasons why you most likely did not get that job in journalism. You didn't apply enough times. There's arbitrary personal decisions. Companies are worried that they're not going to be able to mold you in the way that they would like, or you don't have quite enough experience and you're applying for a full-time role, which often requires a level of confidence or perceived confidence that comes with work experience, where the hiring team feels that with hiring you, it will not require too much oversight, that they can give you a list of tasks and duties or beats to report on, and you can just go do it. Anyway, hopefully it's useful or helpful. Like I said, I've worked a melange of media jobs that will go unnamed as I am still currently employed, and often the things I disclose in these videos the companies would not like. Thanks for watching, guys. See you tomorrow. Bye.